So it's been a while since I've made a video. It's been like 2 months actually. And so sorry, it's been a lot going on. It's been busy. It's been a busy 2 months. It's been a busy beginning of the new year. It's just been a lot going on. But I am back. I'm back with another video and another movie review at that. So this is really late movie review. Like I probably should have been done this like a long time ago, but that's neither here nor there. Now, if you're probably looking at this and wondering why my lipstick is so dark, I was trying to match my lipstick with this shirt. This shirt, I really like this shirt, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. So this movie was good. There were some people who said that they were confused or they didn't like the movie, that it wasn't good, that it didn't deliver or whatever. But to me, I don't know. I liked the movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was really good. I mean, it was sad, but it was still great. But there were some parts that cracked me up in this movie. Some parts that made me sad too. But like I said, overall, I thought the movie was great. So, anyways, so the whole part with like Cersei and Ikaris, I mean, I thought that they made a nice couple, not just because they look good, but it just seemed like they clicked, whenever they first, in the movie where it shows like them like looking at Earth. I'm thinking this is the first time, along with everybody else, I'm sure, that they were like, I guess first like birth or made or whatever, not knowing that they've done this before. But we'll get to that later. Talking about oh, isn't it beautiful? And they're looking at each other, and she's looking at him, and he's looking at her. Anybody could see that, like, the two of them were going to get together. The two of them were going to be together. They were going to be a thing. And they were. Went through a whole thing. They fell in love. They got married, had fun, getting involved with, like, the natives who they helped protect and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, anybody saw it coming that the two of them were going to be together. And it seemed like they would be together forever. Like, they lived for, of course, like hundreds of years. You would think that they would spend all that time together, that they just were the two people who would never get sick of each other. There's always those couples that you see, in life where you can tell they could spend all day, every day with each other and they'll never get tired of each other. That was them until he goofed and, until he goofed. Let's just put it that way. Then, like, it switches to somewhere else and she's with some other guy. And you're like, now, wait a minute. What happened to, happily ever after her and Mr. Forever or whatever? And so then this ugly atrocity thing, variant, like, came where they were. And he just comes, majestically and, like, saves them. And she's just like, Ikaris. And he's like, Cersei. And of course, the other guy, he's just like, am I interrupting something? Like, did I, is there something going on here that I don't know about? And so she explains, at least she did, explain to him, I guess sort of what was going on, even though she kind of wasn't supposed to. It's better than leaving him in the dark, what they say, you start a new relationship. Honesty is the best policy. It's the good foundation to start said relationship on. So she did tell him, some stuff. And so they ended up going with Ikaris, because he was saying that Ajax died. And then I'm just like, huh? And like, well, he didn't tell them. He didn't tell them, but they went, he brought, them to her. And they were like, no, what happened? And he was like, it must have been one of the new variants or whatever. And they're like crying. And then the little thingy that was like in her went into, Cersei, that was like helping her communicate with I forgot what you call those things, that was like, calling all the shots basically. She'd been trying to communicate with him, thinking like, oh, maybe I can do it. Like, maybe if I just try so hard, and then bam, the little thing comes out of her and goes at her. It was just that simple. And she was like, oh. And she was like, oh, I communicated with him or whatever. And then you can instantly tell that Ikaris felt a certain kind of way because it wasn't him that Ajax chose. And he had no right to feel that way, especially after what he did. Anyway, so they go and go and get everybody. And like I said, I didn't forgot most of these people's names already. I didn't told y'all this before. I'm not good with names. Like, I remember theirs because they were like the main characters, but like, I didn't forgot names. All right. So they went to go get the other guy who was like in the middle of a production of, like, I guess a movie or a play that's supposed to be centered around Ikaris. You could tell he was that type of guy in the group that was like always looking up to the popular guy, which would be Ikaris in this situation. And so he's basically like, he just wasn't even there for it. He was just like, are you done? Like, Ajax is dead. And he was like, no. And he brings his little like cameraman. That man was hilarious. Okay, like give him a raise because that man was hysterical. Okay, he brings like his assistant with him. He has like the little camera. And Sprite was like, "Why are you recording?" And she like smashes the camera, and then he like pops up with another camera, and I'm like, "So that's how you do it, okay? You're the cameraman. You have a backup camera, sir. Like you have a main camera, they smash that. You bring out a little handheld camera. They smash that. You got a GoPro. They smash that. You got a flip phone. You know, like I was like, this man is hilarious. And so then they go and they get like the others one by one, and Angelina Jolie's character, again, I forgot, like, I didn't told y'all this before, and they went and they got, I do remember Gilgamesh, now I do remember that, yeah, so, and they went to go get them, and he was explaining to them that she was, like, experiencing some kind of, like, issue where, basically, you know, what we had started to figure out closer to the end of the movie, that wasn't their first rodeo, that basically they had went to multiple planets, and help these celestials basically come out of these planets by basically killing, you know, the planet. Like they make sure that like, you know, the people are good and then they're multiplying. And once it gets to a certain number of population, Celestial pops out and basically kills the planet. And so once they're done, then they go back to, you know, the main, you know, Celestial, and he basically reboots their mind. And I guess like after so many rebootings, like she was like losing it or whatever, and he was like trying his best to like look out for her, and he was saying, look, right now she's just not fun to be around, she's just having issues. And he had been looking out for her all that time. They were another couple that was together. You could tell from point blank day one, they were like this. And he just wasn't gonna leave her no matter what. And I was like, I admire those kinds of relationships, people who stick with people literally for better or for worse. Like, I'm not talking about being abused. I'm talking about this person's got issues and you stuck with them when you could have just walked away. She had even asked him, like, why would you take care of me and help me knowing that I have these issues? He was like, 'cause that's what you do, somebody that you love. And I was like, wow, that's so touching. You're touching my heart. Okay. Anyways, so, you know, then they're all together again. And of course they just had to break up the reunion. Those doggone atrocities. The name's escaping me right now. The dang variants. They had to ruin everything. And then to make things worse, the main one, it could talk. I was like, see, holy water, we need it now. Throw it at the screen, because that didn't look right. It didn't look okay at all. And he was basically like talking to them, and I was like, I'm not okay with this. And he was giving Gilgamesh a run for his money. I mean, this guy was like powering through, and I thought it was so cool. Like all their powers were so cool. He was like powering through. But he's giving him a run for his money though. And I was like, dang, they need to like send him back up because they gonna get him killed. And then, you know, I don't know if they'd actually gotten married, you know, his woman or whatever was like losing it. And then she was fighting Icarus. And then Icarus was trying to fight another variant. And then Cersei was fighting the variant. And she was like, you know, she did the whole thing where she said she thought she could only do inanimate objects. But then that was when she found out, poof, she can turn, well, I guess you could call them, you know, alive, you know, animate objects into, you know, basically inanimate objects, basically. And she was like, looking at it like, I didn't know I could do that, you know. And everybody was like, wow, did you do that? And then when they finally were able to stop, like, you know, when Icarus got, you know, his variant under control, he came to help her and was like, oh my God. He was like all worried, like, oh my God, are you all right, Cersei? And he's like hugging her. And I'm like, first of all, dude, like, you messed up. Like, she has a man now, leave her alone. But he was like, oh, like hugging her and stuff. And he kind of like looks at what she did. And I feel like in his eyes, he became a little bit nervous because at that time, like, we kind of all figured out like what that meant, right? She could turn, you know, basically she could make living things inanimate, like, you know, at first they thought that she could only manipulate inanimate things. I know I'm using that word a lot, but, you know, whatever. But now she could do the same thing to things that are alive, like living beings. And I feel like he kind of got a little nervous, like, whenever he realized that. But, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, and so another thing that just made me laugh was like whenever he went to go and get, again, I forgot like half of their names, the guy with the glasses who was like all about technology. Basically, he was like, he had like started a whole family, and like, Icarus and Cersei was like in his house, and he was like, I bet you have been using your powers. And he was like, no, I haven't been. And he like tries to laser blast through like one of his doors. I'm like, bro, what if he hadn't put up like a barrier? You just busted his door. You owe him a new door now. And he was like, oh, I bet this is the perfect sanctuary for your little family. He was like, you know what? Don't test me. And then he like hits the table, I guess, thinking that like he had done something to like solidify the table. It breaks in two. And he was like, that was my IKEA fall collection, you jerk. And I'm like, see, now you owe him a new table. I thought that was hilarious. But anyways, so they're all, like I said, fighting. And unfortunately, Gilgamesh gets murdered, basically, by this stupid variant. And on top of getting murdered, his powers are absorbed by the variant. And the thing can, like, walk and talk even better now. And I'm just like, this is getting scary, y'all. And then, like I said, I forgot, Angelina Jolie's character was, like, so upset. And I guess, she felt even worse because, like, if I had been in my right mind, I might have been able to stop it or whatever, and it's just like, listen, y'all had a bunch of things going on. This could not have been predicted. It's really nobody's fault except for that one person. Like, we all know whose fault it was. And then they keep going to the point where, and so they, she basically like, Cersei gets to the point where she basically takes the same stance that Ajax does. And you could tell that, I believe that Ajax wanted her to have the little thingy thing, it kind of elected her the next leader because I feel like deep down inside, maybe she didn't know that the way she was going is the way Cersei was going too. Maybe deep down inside, she didn't trust Icarus. And so she basically was like, what if we don't, like, kill Earth? Like, and, when she found out, like, basically from the Celestial that that's what they were doing, killing those planets to bring forth those Celestials. She was like, but so many people die. And then, like, the Celestial was like, but so many people live. And I was like, what? And so she was like, this don't make sense. Like, this is some math. Like, you're giving me this math and it's not adding up. And so I kind of agree with her. I was like, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. And so she was like, okay, get this, guys. What if we don't, like, let give, let the Celestial kill the Earth? Like, what if we just, like, and they were like, listen, that's a big something to do. But then they also had to get together because they were like, look, we like this planet. We like the people of this planet. Like, we bonded with them. Like, we want to keep this planet. We want to keep Earth here. We don't want Earth to, like, be destroyed, okay? And then, of course, it's like something clicked in Icarus' mind. And he was like, oh, I know how to handle this. And then he goes and gets, like, suited up. And then, like, what are you doing? And he's like, stopping y'all. And I'm like, oh, he's serious. He's dead serious. Like, he's like serious as a heart attack. And then he basically starts trying to kill them. And I'm like, they're your teammates. And they were like, what are you doing? And then it was the guy, the one who could control people's minds. He was like, oh, I know what happened. Those variants didn't kill Ajax. He did. And they were looking at him like, this can't be true. Please tell me it's not true. And he was like, I had to do what I had to do. And then they like flashed back to him. The way he did it was so messed up. Like, I literally wanted to shed some tears. Like, I was like, that's cold-blooded. Like, the way he offed Ajax was cold-blooded, y'all. That was cold-blooded. And I was like, wow, he really did that. And then he had the audacity to be upset. Like, I'm just like, well, if you're that upset, why did you do it? Like, and I get it. You were like, oh, we have to be loyal to the Celestials. And I'm like, whatever. And so he was so upset, but he was like, I gotta keep this a secret. And I think that was like the main reason why he had distanced himself from Cersei, because I guess he could not face her after doing that. And she was like mad at him because, like, you literally ditched me for like decades, centuries, like, and you never told me why. Like, you can't just walk back into my life and be like, I miss you, I love you still, like, after what you did, And I was just like, and they were like, we can't believe you. And then, the young woman that was like the fast one, the real fast one, she's like, because they were like, go and find the coordinates of where, the Celestial's gonna come up. So she's like running, and then she finds it, and she's like, I found it. And then she's like running, and she goes back, and she's like all happy. She's like, I found it. And then like, get out of here. Like, he's like trying to like blast her to bits. And I'm like, he's really serious about this. And they start fighting. And then the variants come back. I was like, so not only are y'all distracted, like this is how people died the last time. This is how Gilgamesh died. Attention diverted, one issue going on over here, another issue going on over here. They're all fighting, you know. So Angelina Jolie's character was like, you know what? Y'all deal with him. I got this. And I was like, I don't know if you want to do that, ma'am. I don't know if you want to do that. But she did it. She did that thing. She defeated him by herself. I was actually kind of shocked. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think she was going to win. I thought she was going to die. I was like, great, he's got another one. But she did it. She took him out. And I was like, thank goodness. Like, because I was going to be mad if he got another one of them. And they're all teaming up against, you know, Icarus, trying to stop him. And then doggone it, Sprite. Really, Sprite? Like, she gonna sit up there and say, I was jealous of you because I wanted to be with him, but I couldn't because I'm a child and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, and then I felt bad because, like, I can't remember off the top of my head, like, you know, if it was like an even number of each of them to be put together with each other. But even if it was, it still would have been awkward. I don't think it was. I think there was like more of the women than the men, I think. But it still would have been awkward because she's a little girl, you know? And it's like, okay, well, get in line. Like, the same thing happened, you know, with the other guy who liked the, you know, fast girl. She liked the guy who could control people's minds. But it's like, you didn't see him stabbing people literally in the back because of it. Like, yeah, sure, he was like, I don't want to do this. Like, you guys can do this, like, handle it the way you want to, but I'm just going to walk away. Which I thought was, like, really messed up. I'm like, look, y'all are all in this together. Okay? Just call it High School Musical. Y'all are all in this together. And for him to just walk off like, I don't want to be in this anymore. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, just because you couldn't get the person that you wanted, I feel like that was kind of messed up. Like, he should have stuck with them because they could have used his help. Like, sure, they made it without him, but they could have used his help. But whatever, anyways. They all worked together. And it was hilarious how he hit that girl over the head with that rock. That was hilarious. And he was like, commence what we're going to do. And at first, even she was like, I can't do in a celestial. But she tried. She put her hand on there and she tried and she did it. And at first they were like, we did it. Wow. And then he was so upset. He was like, I'm sorry. And she was like, I believe she forgave him. She forgave him, but he was so upset with himself. I guess he just couldn't handle it. And I thought that it was messed up that because I'm just like, no, you don't get to do that. You need to stay and make up for what you did. Like if you're sorry, stay and make up for what you did. But I feel like he kind of took the easy way out. And I still was like really upset when he did that to himself. They made me really upset, but again, mad at the same time. So I was like, then why didn't you stay behind and try to fix it? You know? Whatever, I digress. And then Sprite was like, I don't want this anymore. I want to be a human. And so Cersei was like, I have a little bit of power. I can make you a human. And she chose to be made. You know, it was her choice. It's her decision. I respect that. You know, that's what she wanted. That's what she wanted. But anyway, so I was like, well, dang. And so they're all going home and they're all happy. I'm thinking, wow, she like bested a celestial. Like, props to Cersei. And then all of a sudden, the head celestial comes and gets her, and the other guy was like, y'all got something. Basically, he came with the energy of, y'all really thought y'all were gonna get away with what you did? I got something for y'all. Okay, since you wanted to do that, let's see if your little humans that you killed one of our artists for is worth it. And we're gonna judge you. And if it doesn't come out favorably, y'all are gonna pay for it. And I was like, so how are they gonna pay for it? Like, this sounds kind of bad. I was like, dang. And then her, like, I think that was like her fiance that were like gonna get married. He was like, oh my God, where is Cersei? Where did they take her? And then he goes to get the little blade, which I think he's supposed to be like the Black Knight or something like that. And then Nick Fury pops up and was like, are you sure you want to do that? And I was like, it's Nick Fury. Like, how's he doing? Haven't seen him in a while. But anyways, I was like, oh my God, they really messed up. I mean, they did great, but they messed up too. And then the others were basically like, oh my God, where are they? We gotta find them. We gotta help them or whatever. Then basically like Thanos' brother comes in, and like I did see somewhere, like, you know, after doing some research and like looking at some videos, that Thanos was actually a variant, you know. So what can I say? Thanos' brother like comes and was like, "What's up, guys?" And I was like, wow, isn't that some irony? So we'll be seeing him, and I did not realize until after the fact that he was played by Harry Styles. So I was just like, I kept looking at him like, why does that actor look so familiar? And then I was like, oh, that's Harry Styles, right? Whatever. Anyways, but it was good. I thought it was good, and of course they set it up for a part 2. Like I said, somehow they got to incorporate, the Black Knight into there. With I think his name is Kit Harington. And so I thought it was good. I felt like it was a little bit self-explanatory, I guess. Some, minor details that were a little like, question mark, because people were going on about the whole thing with like, so was Thanos really trying to snap everybody because he felt like they were killing the planet, using up all the resources by multiplying and the population being so big, or if he was trying to snap everybody out because he didn't want them to get to such a large population to the point where it was now viable for the Celestial to kill planet Earth. But see, he never mentioned the Celestial, so it's like, is that what he really meant, or is it not what he really meant? And then actually, if he had snapped and they had left it like that, then they wouldn't have had to worry about this anyways. But then, I mean, of course, the population was just gonna grow probably back to that, like, so it probably just would have like delayed the inevitable anyways. So we don't know for sure. But I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was good. Like I said, hilarious parts in the movie, but it was pretty sad though. Like I said, the things that happened, but I thought it was a good movie. I really did. Like I said, some people kind of just like threw eggs at it, and I was like, I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie. But anyway, so y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. My ideas and thoughts were all over the place. Like I said, couldn't remember half of the names because I didn't already told y'all about that. Like, so don't say I didn't warn you, okay? So don't be mad. Be like, his name is. I didn't told you already. And if you don't know, go back to the previous videos and watch why I apologize for not being able to remember some of these names most of the time. But anyways, tell me what you think in the comments. Y'all let me know. All right.